Hello and welcome back to the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast. My name is Eric Herlock, and today's show is my fourth episode from the road, part of our National Hemp Tour. Today I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, where I caught up with Morris Beegle, the founder of the NoCo Hemp Expo, as well as a number of other hemp brands, including Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars. But first we're going to take a quick sponsor break, and then we'll get back into the conversation with Morris about hemp guitars, the upcoming Southern Hemp Expo, and a whole lot more. This episode from the road is brought to you by New Holland Agriculture. Hemp, the next frontier in agriculture, is here, and New Holland is ready to help you grow, harvest, and process it. They're partnering with researchers, engineers, and farmers to continue to move the industry forward. They've allied with the National Hemp Association to swiftly return hemp crops onto farmland, and they're working hard to solve the unique challenges of hemp production. With decades of innovation in agriculture, New Holland can help you capitalize on this new frontier. Now that's the pioneering spirit. Get a head start in growing, harvesting, and profiting from hemp. Visit betterhempharvest.com. And also I'd like to give a shout out to our ongoing podcast sponsor, I&D Hemp. Okay, so my family took a break from the road this past weekend, and we stayed in Boulder, Colorado, a place that I spent some time back in my earlier days. Back in '94, I was a college dropout busking on Pearl Street, and in 1997, I had an internship at the Naropa Institute in Boulder. The town has changed considerably in the past 25 years, but also hasn't really changed at all. This morning, I drove Dolly the RV up to Fort Collins to meet with Morris Beegle, and then I went across town to meet with Wendy Mosher from New West Genetics. I'll publish my conversation with Wendy in the next episode, but for now, here's my conversation with Morris Beegle. Hey, Morris Beegle, how you doing?
Good. What's going on, man?
Oh, just driving through Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah?
Thought I'd stop in and, see your collection of... This is what, the world's largest collection of hemp guitars?
I would have to say so.
All
Unless the Canadian hemp guitar guys have a bunch at their place, but they don't have all the different types that I do.
Okay. So how did you get started in hemp guitars?
Well, I come from the music industry, and I've been a guitar player for quite a while. Not necessarily a great guitar player. My brother's a really good guitar player. But I come from the music industry, and when we started Colorado Hemp Company in 2012, that was the first kind of launch into the hemp industry. From there, we started Tree Free Hemp in 2013, which is hemp paper, and you'll see around here, we'll look at some of the hemp paper later on. Started NoCo in 2014, and when we started NoCo, I was looking for exhibitors to participate, and I found a company called Canadian Hemp Guitars that was based out of Canada.
Right.
And so I'd reached out to them, tried to get them to participate for several years, and there was a rep in Denver who had a demo guitar of theirs, and he came to the show, and we showcased it, and then I started talking to these guys about basically private labeling some guitars for me. So I bought one of their guitars, and then I commissioned them to do a couple more guitars and then some ukuleles. And so we got things going and did several prototypes. And then these guys, they were more part-time. One's a musician, tours all over the place. The guy who was the main builder had another gig, and so this was like a side hustle for him. And unfortunately, those guys just didn't have the bandwidth to do what I wanted to do. And I ended up connecting with these guys out of Georgia called the French Brothers. There's another company called Hard Truckers who was building guitar cabinets out of birch, and they had originally, or not originally, but at one point built some hemp guitar cabinets using material from Asia that then was no longer available, so they just went back to doing birch cabinets, which And these guys have worked with Jimmy Herring and Colonel Bruce Hampton, a bunch of the jam band stuff.
Okay.
They built cabinets for those guys. I think Carlos Santana and kind of that whole vein. And then there was a point where Sunstrand, and you see some of this board over here, Sunstrand was making a board product that I got some of their stuff to the guys in Atlanta, and they built a couple of cabinets, and we had to laminate boards together. So we made a couple cabinets, and you'll see there's a couple of them right there. And then Larry Serban from Hemp Traders came up with a new board product called Canagrove, which we bought a whole bunch of that, and you'll see most of these cabinets are made with the Canagrove. And then Hempwood came out of Kentucky, and so I started talking to Greg about the Hempwood, and we got some samples to the French brothers, and I guess we made the Strat over there is the first Hempwood guitar that was actually ever made. The guy who does custom work for Fender also made a Strat, similar to what that is right there. But, we've been basically prototyping for 5 years now.
Okay.
So we're about done with the prototyping phase. We've got amplifiers now, we've got cabinets, we've got a couple of different versions of the guitar, which the V1 and the V2. Right over here, these are the V1s.
Yeah, pick them up and show them off a little bit.
Yeah, so this right here, this is Hempwood on the front and Hempwood on the back.
Okay.
And then right here in the middle is Canagrove. So this is 100% solid hemp body.
Okay.
The neck is made out of maple. We can put different necks on here, different frets. These knobs, these go to 11. So,
quite literally.
Yes.
Nice.
Of course. These guitars go to 11. And that amplifier over there also goes to 11. Why go to 10 when you can be one louder?
Yeah, right.
So, anyway, so these were the first Hempwood versions that we really worked on. That Strat right there is like 10.5 pounds, too heavy. It's like we're going to have to figure out how to make these things a little bit lighter. We got those down to 8.5 pounds. Those new V2s are a little bit lighter. And this one, let me grab this one over here. So I've got a couple of these. The other one my brother has right now, he played with William Topley a couple weeks ago and brought the guitar out. This actually has an alder core, so we were trying to lighten it up a bit, but we've still got Hempwood on the front and the back. These things are mounted in kind of like the way Van Halen did it. So his basically are hard mounted into there.
Okay.
So anyway, pretty cool.
Yeah, so we were down in Kentucky and we saw the shop at Hempwood.
Yeah.
So it's cool to think that these guitars are from there.
Yeah. So and it's all hand wired stuff and handmade, all American parts for the most part. Everything that can be made in America is made in America. So we're happy about that.
Yep.
There's a lot of parts that still are made in Asia that, but a lot of that stuff is available in America too, and we're trying to make it as American as possible.
Nice. You want to turn on the amp and play electric a little bit?
How loud do we want to get?
You tell me.
Oh, let's see.
Is that a tube amp?
Yep. And then also the cords, just so everybody knows, these are hemp wound cords that Fender actually makes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So all of the guitar cords here and all the straps.
Hemp guitars, hemp amps, hemp straps, hemp picks. You got it all.
Yep. Hemp wood.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg, for this amazing product. Hemp innovation right here in the United States.
That's right. So you are going to be in North Carolina in a couple of months, right? Can you talk about the show coming up?
Yeah, so we're moving Southern Hemp Expo. It's our third annual one because we did not have one last year. Last year was going to be the third annual one.
Right.
It was going to be back in Nashville, which we started in Nashville in 2018, went to Franklin in 2019, which is an hour from Nashville. We're going to go back to Nashville. Couldn't get the situation worked out with the venue. Put an RFP out throughout the South. Raleigh came back and said, hey, we'd love you to move the event to Raleigh, to the convention center. And there was some incentive to do so. We got a city-funded grant to help offset some of the cost of the venue, which we were the first cannabis-related company to tap into these grant funds, which is a cool thing. But Raleigh's been very supportive and really wants us out there. And yeah, so it's going to be September 2nd through the 4th. And we've got 3 days of programming. We've got a business conference, a farm symposium, and then just a general open to the public day on that Saturday the 4th. All the programming is going to be free that day. We've got some great speakers lined up. Dr. Uma just confirmed, and she's going to be doing a keynote for us. And she's really well known in the medical cannabis side of things, but she's talking about the whole plant and all the great opportunities there are with hemp for human health and nutrition, planetary health, and yeah.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So full expo hall, lots of networking and social activities as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of cool hemp stuff happening down in North Carolina.
There is. You know, that whole southeast down there from Florida all the way up through to New York and Pennsylvania. Yep. And we've got several Pennsylvania folks coming out. Cameron McIntosh is going to be there.
Hi, Cameron.
Hey, Cameron.
Yeah, he's sponsoring the tour. There's their logo.
There we go.
Americhon Cast Hemp.
Yeah, this looks great on the wall.
I could leave it here, but then I've got a few more stops to make.
Right. But yeah, so if anybody's interested in exhibiting or sponsoring, that's still going on. We've got discounts happening right now. Tickets are also on sale now for the business conference, farm symposium, platinum ticket, industry tickets. So everything's up and operating at southernhempexpo.com right now. southernhempexpo.com. Correct.
Cool. All right. Before we started recording, we were sort of talking about the Delta 8 situation. Okay. Can you share your thoughts on the Delta 8 situation?
Oh, everybody's talking about Delta 8, and I did a podcast with Mario Weintraub from the U.S. Hemp Authority about it. And there's been a lot of industry discussion about where is this going? What should it be legal? Should we say it's hemp derived? And well, my opinion is, A, it should not be illegal. I find the caramels and the chocolates, I'm fine with them. But the stuff does get you high. And 100% of the Delta 8 that is on the market right now is actually is synthetic. So when the hemp industry makes an argument about naturally occurring cannabinoids, and while there may be just a minuscule amount of Delta 8 THC that is naturally occurring, it's so minuscule that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is everything that's on the market is being converted from CBD into Delta 8 THC, synthesized. And you can do it to Delta 9, you can do it to Delta 10. I mean, it's synthetic. And so where does the hemp industry stand on synthetic cannabinoids? And is this a dietary supplement? Is this a health and wellness product? Well, to me, it's way more of an adult use cannabis dispensary type product. So I don't think it should be illegal, but I also don't think it should be sold off of hemp expo floors at trade shows where people are going to get high from it. I was at USA CBD Expo in Atlanta a few weeks back, and there were people, they just passing that stuff out like candy, and several people thought they were taking CBD, and they ended up getting high as can be and sick right there on the floor. So to me, that's not why I got into the hemp industry. I got in for all the cool fiber and food stuff. And here comes CBD, and it's like, well, CBD's great too. CBG's great. We need the FDA to regulate this stuff now as a dietary supplement and a food and beverage additive. So we need to regulate CBD now. And you can actually go to Regulate CBD Now, because there's a campaign sponsored by the Hemp Roundtable and other groups about getting this approved through the FDA, because we need to. It's affecting the entire supply chain. And what we don't need is substances like Delta 8 that cloud this entire conversation about CBD. It's like, well, here's Delta 8. This stuff gets you high. I thought the hemp industry was talking about hemp doesn't get you high, and it's like...
Right. It undermines the whole message.
It does. And, you know, all you people that are selling Delta 8 out there, I mean, I get it. You're making money, and we're getting rid of a lot of this biomass and converting it. I get it. And this is a result of the FDA not doing their job and regulating CBD like it should be. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. The World Health Organization has already said that CBD doesn't pose any health risks. It's safe. You know, the FDA is just holding things up, and we can thank the pharmaceutical industry for doing that, because this is what the FDA does. They are a mouthpiece for the pharmaceutical industry, and they've done this to natural products and botanicals for decades, and we're the latest one. But we're also, you know, we're associated with cannabis and marijuana, but these compounds, these cannabinoids are supplements, and they're good for people. It's like taking a multivitamin. Delta 8, not so much.
Not so much.
You're taking it to get high. That's why you're taking it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a shame that we're even dealing with that. I was surprised by CBD in like right after the Farm Bill, because I was sure like, all right, here comes the golden age. We're going to get into fiber and grain, and everything's going to change. But then CBD was everywhere, and everyone rushed into that. You know, so many farmers in Pennsylvania got into it, and there's barns full of CBD still out there. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, because here's, you know, farmers put everything on the line, put their farms on the line, and they can't move the product. And again, this is a result of the FDA not acting, and farmers don't want to grow hemp anymore. And it's like, we need the market to settle down and grow as a whole plant agriculture commodity. Cannabinoids are fine, they're going to be over here, but fiber and grain is where this industry can make the most change for human health and planetary health.
Right.
And investors are shy about, you know, they've seen what's happened with the CBD glut, but we need to build out infrastructure. We need processing plants like the Basscores of the world and the IND Hemps of the world, and co-ops that are going to bring in infrastructure. So if you got 50 farmers in a 50-mile or 75-mile radius that can all know that their crop's going to go somewhere, and they're going to make their $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 an acre, whatever that number is, whatever they're growing for. But we're kind of in this weird spot right now. There's so many of us that want to see this happen.
Right.
And it is going to happen. It's just a matter of getting through the minutia that's still in front of us.
How do we reach like regular consumers? How do we get consumers to demand that their products are made, you know, regeneratively, sustainably from, you know, plant matter grown above ground by American farmers?
Well, it's education, and we've been trying to do that at NoCo and Southern Hemp Expo. That's a big part of our messaging. We just, as an industry, have to drive this conversation. And I think that consumers already are putting pressure on big companies to green up. And at least under the new administration with Biden and Harris, there seems to be an emphasis on climate change, decarbonization of industry, and hemp makes a great argument for an ingredient replacement when it comes to timber, cotton, fossil fuels, you know, paper and packaging. There's so many different ways that hemp can be utilized in the marketplace. You know, obviously bioplastics and composites, and we got to utilize plant matter in replacing this stuff. And again, hemp is one of the solutions to this. Not the only one.
Not the only one.
No, but it's one of them, and it's a great conversation piece. We know the potential of hemp. We know that it's great for building materials. We know that it can be made into plastics and composites, and we've seen what is being done in Europe, particularly with hemp flax and done agro. You've got companies out there that are building prefab bricks now, and it's just a matter of letting the innovators do what they can and get industry to buy in. I think industry will line up if they know that there's a supply that they can count on, right, and that the price is going to be competitive to what they're already doing, and can we just replace one input with another without having to change out all the machinery and so forth. Like plastics and composites, can we deliver pellets that just you plug right in, it's plug and play, and we don't have to do a whole lot?
And I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
I think they can do that.
They can do that.
Right.
And we've just got a ways to go. We got to continue to educate the consumer. I think the consumer is becoming more aware of trying to eat better foods. We've got COVID. Yeah, you can get vaccines, but the best preventative maintenance is having a good immune system, and that's putting good food into your body.
Yep.
Food is medicine, and not a bunch of processed sugar, processed grains. That stuff's not good for you. Yeah.
You were saying something, and I spaced out what it was, so we're going to edit this out. Let's just take a moment.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing about editing. What else should we talk about? What are some, you've obviously talked to a lot of people in the hemp space in the U.S., so what are some of the things that you're excited about? Some of the companies and people, products.
Well, I'm excited about IND Hemp and what they're doing up there with a full, oil pressing, dehulling system, and now a state-of-the-art LaRoche decorticator fiber processing system. I'm looking forward to going out and checking out what those guys have got set up.
Right.
And, they've got 30 or 40 farmers in their network, and I don't know if they've contracted 10,000, 15,000 acres this year. I'm not sure what their numbers are, but I'm excited about that because here's somebody in the United States that's actually doing it on the scale that we need to be doing it, and we just need another 15 or 20 of those folks around the country, right, where now we've got the ability to handle 500,000 or 1 million acres worth of fiber and grain. And then we got to continue to just keep going from there where we get up into 5, 10, 15, 20 million acres. And then we can seriously start making a change as to these ingredients entering the marketplace at a price where consumers are going to be more willing to pay for it. Where, hemp seeds are expensive right now. It's more of a specialty organic food. But if we can drop the price in that and where farmers can still make money. But the bottom line is farmers have to make money.
Yeah, without the farmers making money, it's a moot point.
And we need to do everything that we can to support our small family farmers and maintain small family farms rather than it being owned by 3 or 4 companies and it's just big industrial ag. Because that's what's one of the biggest killers of the planet right now is big ag with GMO, spraying crops, row cropping, and monocropping, yep, and then big factory animal farms, chickens and pigs and cows, where we need open grazing, regenerative. Things that give me hope are the folks like at Hudson Hemp in New York that are doing super cool stuff with regenerative agriculture. Pocono Organics, they just got certified as the first regenerative organic from Rodale Institute.
Right.
So there's these little success stories that give me hope and keep me excited. From what Pocono's doing and what Hudson Hemp, it's like, that gets me excited.
Yeah. Well, I think at Hudson Hemp, aren't they working on technology where farmers can measure the carbon that they're sequestering in the soil and the plants?
Exactly.
And so that's how farmers are going to get paid for carbon sequestration once that technology is is out.
Right. And we're going to have Ben Dobson from Hudson Hemp / Hudson Carbon that's working on this and developing this technology. He'll be speaking at Southern Hemp Expo.
Awesome.
Really excited to hear what he has to say. I've never met him before, but those guys they've got a well-funded situation that's developing this technology. And the plan is once they get it dialed in, and this technology will be utilized around the planet for smaller farms to be able to capture carbon credits and then turn around and sell those to bigger companies to offset their, here's a way for farmers to make money through the carbon economy.
Yeah, I think about like big companies like Amazon, and they could just with like the stroke of a pen just change things overnight, I think. Like if, what's his name, Jeff Bezos, what if he decided that, all right, in 2 years, I want all of our shipping materials to be plant-based, non-tree material, or all of our packing tape to be, hemp plastic-based. That could just like ignite the industry, right? But where are the super rich people? They need to come in and spend that money.
Right. Well, hopefully Bezos will do that. Amazon did make the announcement that they're not going to be drug testing for marijuana anymore, with the exception of probably their driver's force. But other than that, they're for decriminalization and legalization of recreational adult use. And that's great. We need more Amazons to do that. But Amazon also needs to take the initiative, just like you said. Can their cardboard boxes be made out of hemp or recycled materials? Or how do we move away from their huge footprint so it's a lot less?
Right.
Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, a lot of these companies do have green initiatives. And I think
is it greenwashing? Is it green marketing? What is it?
Exactly. That's a lot of people will say yes, but we have to have those guys at least try to do better.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it's not going to work without the big boys buying in. And consumers need to really put the pressure on too. And I think that that's starting to happen. But we've got a ways to go.
Ways to go, right. Cool. Well, Morris, it's been great to hang out with you here in the hemp guitar capital of the world. That is Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's right. The loudest office on earth.
Cool. Anything else we should talk about? I think.
Here, I'll show the 100% hemp paper.
Oh, nice.
This was made using Canadian Rockies. Was it Canadian Rockies hemp? Their fiber came from Canada to Cottrell Paper in New York and ran like 7,500 pounds of 100% hemp paper. We use those as hemp placemats for NoCo. Hopefully going to have hemp little gift bag stuff for Southern Hemp Expo with their paper. They'll be at Southern Hemp Expo. Cool stuff going on in the paper market. Mohawk Paper, also in New York, has got a line of renewable. They've got hemp paper and recycled cotton and some wheat straw. So there's some of these companies are taking initiatives to look down the road and be first to market and leaders in the market.
Right. I've had conversations with the CEO of Steinman Communications. That's a company that owns Lancaster Farming.
Okay. And
we just imagine a time when in Lancaster County, we grow the fiber hemp to make the paper to print Lancaster Farming newspaper on. Is anybody doing that? Is there any hemp newspaper happening?
No, not at this point. And I've had several people ask about magazine printing, newspaper printing. The newspaper stock has not been done, to my knowledge, in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anybody who's doing it. Maybe somebody in Europe. But
yeah.
Evidently a lot of Bible paper was made with hemp.
Oh yeah.
At some point, but I don't know if that still is. That's really thin stuff.
Thin.
It's kind of like rolling paper.
That's cool. All right. Well, Morris Beegle, thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, Eric, and excited to see your entire journey here. It's awesome that you're doing this.
Yeah. Thanks. We're almost halfway through. So yeah.
Well, and I'll see you in Montana.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, that does it for me today. Thanks for listening. I'll have a video up on the website as soon as I can so you can see Morris playing those hemp guitars. My name is Eric Herlock, and until next time, I'll see you on the road.
Industrial hemp.
Episode 144 of the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast is copyright 2021 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, part of the Steinman Communications family. Today's show is written and recorded, edited and produced by Eric Herlock, and any music you hear throughout the show is courtesy of Tim Shelley.